Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sebonya Joel Collins, a medical student from Gulu University. In today's video, I'll be taking you through Microsoft Office PowerPoint and we'll be exploring on some of the features it has and maybe elaborating on how to make a good presentation using Microsoft PowerPoint. So don't forget to like, follow and subscribe. So opening PowerPoint, we can come here on the start button and then we are able to search PowerPoint. So this will bring the application and we are able to tap and open. And when it opens, it brings such an interface where you pick blank document since we are opening this for the first time. And it has such a display whereby it has different features like insert, design, transition, animation, slideshow, review, as we shall see the importance of each and everything within this application. And so it has slides whereby it's where you put your content, and usually the first slide is the title slide. So we'll go ahead and see how best someone can come up with a good presentation, and we'll take a case scenario where someone is preparing a presentation for malaria. So it should have a title right here, so we'll put our title as malaria and it should be capital preferably. Malaria, so we have to put the name of the presenter. This helps the people you're presenting to be able to know who is talking to them, and you have to include your qualification. You find that it has in most cases to be relating to the field you're going to talk about, whereby people can see that you have expertise within that particular area. So I'll put my name there, MBCHP1. So on our next slide, usually you find that you have to include the objectives of your presentations or the content that you will present to these people. So we'll choose a content and title slide. So on this one, we will put our objectives of the presentation. Preferably, let's do capital letters for all. Objectives. And you have, under this, you have to really break down clearly of how your presentation is going to flow. It is able to guide your presentation. And for a case of malaria, we can take a case scenario whereby we just define what malaria is. So that will be the definition. And then we look at the causes, and then we look at the clinical features, and then we can look at the prevention, and then we look at the treatment, just briefly. Well, so it comes that when doing presentation or PowerPoint, you may not have to put a lot of details on the slides. So it has to be just points to enable you recall what the presentation is about, and then you're able to elaborate and explain to them. So we'll copy this. This will be our first title, and then we paste it in our next slide right here. Yes, the definition. We copy it and paste it there in our slide. Let me delete this and I insert a new one. Content and title. Maybe what I didn't talk about, it has a variety of titles here, slides, whereby there is a title slide, a content, a section and header, one that has a picture with caption, content with caption. So you choose appropriately and you're able to use that. So we'll paste this right here. So that will be the slide with our definition, and we can add a new slide here where we can put our next title, and this will be the causes. And then we can add a new slide here. So that we add our next title until we are done with all of them, and this will be the prevention. and then we add another slide here, title and content, and this will be treatment. So when we are done with this, we can come and put a little detail under these titles, and that content has to really be brief. So we'll define briefly that this is, we begin with malaria is a parasitic infestation caused by Plasmodium parasite. So as you can see, it is really brief. You may not have to define a lot. You come to causes, we can put the Plasmodium parasite, and then we can put the transmitter, we can come to the prevention, and maybe we talk about sleeping under a mosquito net. And then we talk about mosquito repellents, and then we can talk about clearing breeding places. So assuming we've exhausted what we want to talk about, so as you can see, under the treatment, let's talk about antimalarials. Antimalarials, and then we have the supportive care. So for illustrative purposes, we can stop at that, and then now we'll see how they add pictures. So usually adding pictures to a presentation, there is a way it makes explanations come out clearly, and these pictures should relate to what you're trying to talk about. So you can come to insert. Pictures can be inserted online, or you can come right here at pictures, then you're able to select. If at all you pre-downloaded them, for example, I'll choose out this, and we are able to come here and adjust the format we may need. Maybe preferably we can do this circle. We come and put it right here. Then we can choose one more picture. We can come to insert, then we come to pictures, and then we can put these anti-malarial drugs. We can come here and change the picture format so that they look similar, something like that. Yes, so you find that these pictures should be able to relate to what you're talking about. We can decide to put these on the slides that are following down. For example, you can come, highlight them, you copy, then you go to the next slide, and then you're able to paste. That is if you want them to be there. Then on the prevention, we can put maybe a person sleeping under a mosquito net. So we can come to insert, we can come to pictures, and then we are able to put this. So at least as you're talking about someone sleeping under a mosquito net, someone is able to get an illustrative view of that, and you may not have to explain a lot during your presentation. So you position this appropriately, and then we have it right here. So having putting relevant pictures to our presentation, we can go ahead and insert some transitions. Transitions is how the slide pops up. So you find that you have to consider your audience, and you're able to put up something that looks good and won't make your presentation be biased about, something like that. And then you can choose a different one for every slide, but sometimes you may have to make it just uniform for every slide, and then uh, you apply to every slide accordingly. Yes. We can come to the animations. Animations is how the different words will appear during your presentation. Like for example, these ones can float in, something like that. You can choose a different appearance of the title basing on what you may want. And then you come to the design. You find that you have to choose a design that adds that is captures the sight of the people you're presenting to, but again it has to be readable so that it doesn't affect your presentations. You be careful when you're selecting the colors and etc. So you find that this may be good. Let me see this. So you go on looking through and seeing what works for you well. Find that this may work out. So after choosing the appropriate presentation, what you may want, or how your presentation may want to look like, you can be able to go to the slide view, and then you're able to view how your presentation will look as you're presenting it. So we can come and tap on slide view. Let me reduce this to a reasonable size. Something like that. We can come to slide view so that we are able to see how our presentation will look. So it brings such a display, as you can see, the transition, the floating in. Yes. So by doing that, you can see that at least that is how someone may come up with a good presentation. We said it must have a title, words must be readable. You should add some pictures to make it quite look good, and you're able to explain well. It shouldn't be so congested. As you can see, our slides have really few words that make quite some meaning, and then we are able to save our document. So if you're saving for the first time, you come here and then you come to save as. So we'll save right here. We can choose desktop, we choose where we want it to go. So we give an appropriate name, for example, malaria 2. We'll come and see here. Let me choose the desktop, and then I can tap save. So comfortably I will have saved my work, and generally that is it with making a good presentation. Thanks for following. Don't forget to like and follow and subscribe. See you next time.